Hi, I'm Allison Riley for Novus TV. With the federal election fast approaching, Canadians have a very important decision to make on October 19th. So we met up with some of Vancouver Central's candidates to see what their vision for Canada is and how it affects you. We're here today with Lisa Barrett with the Green Party. Lisa, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So we're going to delve right into it. What is the Green Party's opinion on the current economy, and how would you like to see it changed?
Green Party has looked long and hard at our current economy, and we really have strong criticisms around the risks that we have associated with putting all our eggs in one basket with regards to the emphasis on the tar sands and other extractive industries. We know that the billions of dollars that are being invested, public dollars, subsidies going to foreign corporations that really don't need that money. And we do need to take a look at how this is impacting climate change and the costs associated with that. The IMF took a look at our indirect and direct subsidies to the oil and gas industry and found that it was upwards of $36 billion. And that's a lot of money that we could be redirecting into other areas of our economy, other sectors, to clean energy, to better transportation system. And the Greens are looking to redirect that money into training. We need to go back to where we were 20, 30 years ago, where we had operations and maintenance budgets that would keep our infrastructure sound and safe. In Vancouver Centre, people are talking to me every day about affordability issues. Those tar sands subsidies could go into reducing student debt by capping it at $10,000. It's a Green Party promise to also eliminate tuition. So we would be tuition free for post-secondary education by the year 2020.
Great. Now, as far as national security goes, to what degree should Canada be involved in foreign affairs such as Syria or ISIS, and how does the Green Party plan on keeping Canadians safe?
Well, I'll go back to climate change. We have an obligation to look at what we've been doing in the way we've contributed to climate change, and the tar sands being a very large component of that. North Africa has been suffering serious droughts for over 5 years now. This is what happened in Syria. People moved from their farms, which were just dried up and barren, and into the cities, hoping to find some work, hoping to be able to feed their families. There was none. And then there was the Syrian government refusing to even answer the demands. And so there was an uprising in the cities. It was a peaceful uprising, but Assad responded with his military. And so the flood of refugees that we've seen can be traced back to very far, actually, to Canadian imperialism in Africa. Going after our Canadian extractive industries have long been in Africa and long been exploiting those people. So we also have the issue of our foreign aid. Our foreign aid used to be administered through CETA, and it's been shifted so that the African aid, known as CFA, has been turned from the distribution process where people who actually knew about development, knew where those monies would best be spent, instead have been going to Canadian mining companies, or at least mining companies with offices in Canada, operating in African countries, and then they get to use that money to grant themselves corporate social license in those communities. But really what they're building is shanty towns for their employees to be living close to the site so they can exploit them more efficiently.
And now, as far as the justice system, are there any changes that the Green Party would like to make?
Well, let's start with the Department of Justice. In Ottawa, we know that there have been pieces of omnibus legislation just stacked full of unrelated legislation, unrelated to the budget they are purported to be part of. So we lost the Navigable Waters Act, we lost the Environment Act, we lost a lot of the protections that we had before this pattern of lumping unrelated legislation into the omnibus budget, or so-called budget bills, and having a majority government that can just ram that through, regardless of its constitutionality. So now we're seeing bits and pieces, like with Bill C-51, there are challenges as to the constitutionality of these pieces of legislation. If we did not allow the PMO so much power, the Green Party is proposing that we cut the Prime Minister's office budget by 50%, but most particularly going after the Department of Justice so that we don't have those lawyers, the constitutional lawyers that do advise Parliament, that say, after going through these huge pieces of legislation, you can't do that. Well, I would just like to emphasize that the Green Party does have a fully costed platform, and it's been run by very senior economists, and it's seriously credible. This is a plan that we hope, by sending enough MPs to Ottawa, we can help the other parties to adopt these promises, to adopt these commitments that we want to see for a better Canada.
Stay tuned for more interviews with other Vancouver Central candidates. For more information on the election, visit elections.ca. I'm Allison Riley, and you're watching Novus TV.